Welcome back, y'all. We saw that we got some pretty positive feedback on the last episode. So continuing with the theme of learning things and just kind of having fun on the podcast. This week we're talking about how white people.
Ooh, I don't know if you can say that. Can you move over? I feel like I'm pushed off to the side of the camera.
I'm literally at the
equality.
Edge of the table. Okay. But how they took over the world.
Who, the whites?
Yes. So this isn't going to be like some in-depth history lesson. We're going to kind of talk about things that you may have overlooked or not have heard about that have played a huge part in history and how things shaped up. George, do you know who Genghis Khan is?
Yeah, I've heard the name. Yeah. He's like a dictator, right?
No, he's only like the single.
Didn't he kill like millions of people?
The Asian Thanos.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Joe Rogan tell you who he is, and everybody loves Joe Rogan.
They would stay. That guy killed 10% of the population.
He talks about it like he's impressed. It's kind of impressive.
Time, the carbon level, like people burning fires, decreased at a significant measurable percentage because there was less humans. They think they killed somewhere between 50 and 70 million people during his lifetime.
That's a lot of people.
They were lighting corpses on fire and launching them with catapults onto people's houses to burn them down. When they would siege a city, they would stay outside of the city. Thousands and thousands of Mongolians just ready to kill. Then they would capture people who fled, and they would take those people and put them on the front of the line and march them forward like a human shield. And that's how they would get into some of the castles. Since 2003, a study found evidence that Genghis Khan's DNA is present in about 16 million men.
Yeah, so on top of being like just a massive murderer, he was also like the horniest motherfucker alive.
I mean, if I'm out here, killing, I'm stressed, right? I gotta relieve that somehow. And they can't always be murdering people. I got murdered a pussy too. I guess that's what he was like. Let me kill that as well.
Yo, you're so stupid.
But no, that's a different time, bro. Imagine that shit happening now.
He only lived to be about 65. I think he reigned for 22 years. So for him to have killed,
so he started his rampage amongst men when 22 years from 65.
No. So
how old was he when he started doing this shit?
I don't know, but I know like the first recorded time he murdered somebody was his older half brother. And
I mean, you got to start close, right?
It's usually how it starts, I think. But that was like to seize control of his tribe or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then once he became the head, then he started all his shenanigans.
I've always wondered, what do you have to say to people to get them that fucking riled up to be like, yeah.
Like a Hitler type.
Let's fucking take over the world.
Yeah.
You're fucking right. We can't do this. Like, what does that conversation sound like?
I think it's less about what they say and more how they say it. Like historians have described him as like being charismatic. So, high energy,
like Optimus Prime, talking, ready to walk, run through a wall.
Right. And when I was like reading about this dude, I'm like, yo, this just sounds like science fiction. And this is a real
It doesn't sound real.
First of all, like he's basically the Asian Django because these like raiders or whatever kidnapped his wife after they had just gotten married. So he like ganged up with some of his homies and went and killed them and then brought his wife back.
Yeah, that is Django 100% the movie.
Bro, I'm reading this shit and I'm like, there's no way this dude was real. But anyway, I bring him up because if he had finished his mission, or rather his offspring, because he was gone by the time they got to Europe, if they had continued their mission, the world would look drastically different today.
Oh, I'm sure.
So by the time they got to Europe, they started slaughtering people in droves, obviously. The Europeans could not win. But for whatever reason, the Mongolians turned around and went back to...
They just stopped
and left.
So they're doing their thing, winning, and then just on a fucking Tuesday morning was like, I'm over it.
Yeah. I mean, people have their theories, but nobody really knows why. And after that happens, Europeans basically are like, yeah, it's time to time to branch out. And so
they learned a couple of tricks of the trade. It's like they've almost fucking took us out. What if we did that?
And like when we talk about like the British and all these other places, a lot of people like to make it like bigger than what it is. I think from what I've learned, all of this shit stems from money.
Oh, always,
right? So after the Mongolians did their thing, the Europeans started like, the Portuguese initially started traversing the world on ships and things like that. And then they found out like, oh, we can make a shit ton of money by trading. So they started using ships to trade, spread their goods and services all over the place, stumbled upon the Americas. We already know how that story ends, thanks to our last episode.
If you didn't watch last week's episode, tune in.
Right. So that happens. And at this point, like they're getting so good at it, they just got bored. So they created this company called the British East India Company. And this company basically became the blueprint for what we see today with other like mega corporations and shit. So the British East India Company, their job initially was just to like do what's called crowdfunding. So they're getting people like to invest in the company so that they can send more ships out and
business as usual. That's every day now.
Exactly. So what ends up happening though is this company gets like massive to the point where they
become the Apple of their time.
Bro, exactly. All right. So they have more soldiers than the actual British army. I think they had like 240,000 soldiers under their command. And I want to play this shit just so you can kind of like get an idea.
This 18th century merchant company had more soldiers than the British Empire.
I know.
Founded in 1600, the East India Company, later British East India Company, was a dominant global force as it controlled the global trade of goods. It generated lots of wealth for the British Empire and the monarchy, but it also had its own private army. A huge force of 260,000 soldiers at its peak, which was twice the size of the British Army at the time. The company even seized control of large parts of the Indian subcontinent, colonized parts of Southeast Asia, and also Hong Kong.
All right, so I'm a little confused, I guess, because they're a company, a corporation, to say, right? Why do they have an army?
Well, because some of the places they were going to, they were meeting resistance.
Okay.
And so they were like, we need some people on call that we can kind of like deal with.
260,000 people.
Crazy.
Ready at any time.
Bro, the company got so powerful, the government was like afraid of them.
Yeah.
They were like, these motherfuckers could overthrow us if they wanted to.
So it is like if Bill Gates was like a true psycho and was like building his own army and was like, y'all gonna have to work with me now.
Well, who's to say he's not already doing that?
Yeah,
like how would we even know?
That's true. But is the military working for him?
Do we know who the military actually is working for? Like there are private companies that you can hire to
Merryweather Security.
I don't know who that is.
GTA.
Okay. Merryweather Security. You just pulled that out your ass. Well, yeah, like, I guess, if Bill Gates was like, I want to hire 300,000 Indians to come.
How does it stop?
What do you mean?
So we have the first dude.
Yeah,
Genghis Khan, who killed 70 million people.
Yep.
All right. Now we have the East Indian Trading Company, if is that what it's called?
Yep.
Who has a 260,000 army ready to go, forcing their business into certain parts of the world through murder.
Yep.
Right. I guess the idea is still similar. I mean, there's wars going on for oil, right? I mean, I'm just trying to see what happened in time that stopped being the method of business.
I don't think it has stopped, honestly.
Right? It's still kind of the same.
Yeah. I mean, because when you look at
there's wars going on right now as we speak.
Right. And when you look at like Africa, perfect example, honestly. And then this kind of plays into what we're talking about today. Europe basically split Africa up into like a bunch of different colonies. And depending on which hemisphere or which part of Africa you were in, you spoke your colonizer's language. So the French had their section, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But what happened over time was like they just used the people and the resources for their own home country. And now, like, if you go to some parts of Africa, they still speak French. Yeah. Like the effect that the shit that they did 100 years ago is still there today. So even when you look at like America and you think like, oh, we're completely independent of blah, blah, blah. No, like there's still like British influence here, even though like, you know, we beat their ass. And I'm saying I'm USA.
Yeah, but freedom, the evil.
Oh, you gonna drop it in there? Well, yeah, like there's still influence felt today. So I don't think it'll ever be like completely eradicated.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, that's kind of crazy though. The only thing that comes to mind though for the East Indian Trading Company is for some reason Pirates of the Caribbean, I think, was to the point though. The dude was like building his empire, you know what I mean? Yeah. Through trading and all this shit. Yeah. Now, obviously, they were also dealing with Davy Jones and some other shit, but the core value of that is very much this. It's like this guy's just like, I'm going to take over the world through this trading company.
Yeah. I mean, when you have the money and you have like, I guess, a team, or I'll say resources, there's not much that you can't really do. Right? Like and that goes for any like aspect of life. Like if you and I were to say, oh, let's start a podcast army, we could be on every platform 24/7, just putting out content. But
why don't we do that?
I don't know. If you want to join the Mancave Podcast
24-hour podcast channel. Instead of like the 24-hour news channel, it's a 24-hour podcast.
That would actually be crazy. Yeah. You just run content 24/7 and then people can like kind of jump in. So
right.
You get me distracted. Jesus Christ. But yeah, like I don't know where it stops. And I don't know at what point the world takes a step back, like, yo, it's enough of the wars and shit like that. Because now look at like Russia. Russia's on the brink of taking over Ukraine completely. So it's not much different than what Genghis Khan set out to do. Although some people say Russia is reclaiming land. I don't know. I'm not a historian and I am not Russian, so I can't really speak to that.
Man. It's just crazy to think about 70 million people. But Joe Rogan really was talking about that, man. Like,
no, he was impressed.
He was impressed.
He was impressed for sure.
You can't say it's not impressive.
Because that's
insane numbers.
You kill 10 million people a year. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You bro lived till he's 65, killed.
How do you even live to be that old in that business?
Then, bro.
Yeah, and even back then. Because what would the average rate of living be? 45?
Yeah, probably 45.
And that's like you're old?
Yeah. No, dead ass.
This motherfucker lived to be 65 being a murderous psychopath. That's how you know bad people live forever, bro.
Bro, I was literally just saying that yesterday. But he was a tactical genius. So one of the things that he used to do, like, because back then in Asia also, I think even like more recently, people like valued having sons because sons, you know, physically stronger.
Your name and
exactly. Carrying your lineage. Genghis Khan, when he would have daughters, he would marry these daughters off to other civilizations, then take the son-in-law and enlist him in his military, make him fight on the front line.
And get him killed.
And then the daughter runs the empire.
Genius.
And then it becomes an extension of his civilization.
It's evil,
bro.
It's like genius.
He's playing chess in real time. Yeah. Like,
I mean, you got to be that smart if you really are trying to take over the world, right?
Yes.
And you putting up those kind of numbers. You got to be a fucking genius.
Putting up those kind of numbers is crazy. I'm curious. Like in comparison to Hitler,
there's no way he touched those numbers.
I don't know.
Do you think this was a big motivation for Hitler? He was like, I'm trying to be the next Genghis Khan.
I don't know if he would ever stoop in by his standards that level
of
to be Asian, like to like
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there were 11 million victims of the Holocaust.
That's 1 year for Genghis Khan, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Bro would be like,
get the horse. Catch up.
Get the horse. I'm going to show you how it's done.
That's insane, bro.
Right.
But yeah, so what I'm like, my biggest shock is that just stopped.
Yeah.
Why? What are some theories? Did you look into that at all? Like, what are the theories behind being like, we're done?
Nah, I didn't.
We got all of our achievements, 100% success in the game.
I didn't look into the theories because there were just too many. And basically what it boils down to, nobody really knows. Like,
how is that possible that nobody knows why he just stopped?
I guess some motherfuckers saying, "Oh, nobody an explanation." If the person
that is massacring millions at a time just stops, I guess you're not really saying why are you stopping.
Can you say anything?
Right,
like, you have no business.
You just be like, thank fucking God, it's done.
I was tired of smelling burning bodies.
Right, like, Jesus Christ.
But anyway, so a couple other interesting things that I kind of found was like the Portuguese apparently were the first Europeans to build ships, but the Europeans were. No, I keep saying the Europeans as if Spain isn't like right there. Basically, everybody was following Spain's lead, and you brought that point up, I think, last week, where you're talking about like they're like low key one of the OGs of like.
Yeah,
murder.
They were trying to catch up to. They was like, we here too.
Yeah, facts.
We out here catching bodies and spreading the seed.
But they were doing it so well that everybody just kind of was like, yo, we need to get on this train. Mm-hmm. And so, the Europeans basically started going around the world, pillaging, murdering, establishing themselves as a global dominant power. And it was funny when I was learning this shit, because I thought about when I went to London 2 years ago. Have you ever been to? Okay. So if you go to the museum in London, the British Museum, I think it's the world's largest. Museum.
Okay.
Bro.
I mean, they stole the most shit, right?
Bro, like everything in there is from another fucking country.
Yeah, they stole the most shit. I would expect their museum to be the biggest.
Bro, it has artifacts from over 200 countries.
Yeah.
I want to show you. This girl was like dunking on them, and this shit is actually hilarious.
The only reason there are pyramids in Egypt is because they're too heavy to carry to the British Museum. I was in Cairo last summer, and I went to the Egyptian Museum, where there is a fake Rosetta Stone hanging on the wall. There's a plaque next to it saying, "Sorry, we don't have the real one. It's in the fucking British Museum." The official website of the British Museum literally has a page called Contested Objects from Our Collection, which includes a bunch of art from around the world, but also an entire section about human remains, because they have 6,000 human remains from around the world. Nobody, the British Museum. Nobody, the British Museum. Never ask a woman her age. Never ask a man his salary. Never ask the UK, where did you get your shit? What's something that feels British but isn't? The contents of the British Museum.
No, but that's, okay, so that's why it's kind of fucked up, right? Because it's like, it's all stolen shit.
Yeah.
But also like, I gotta respect the game. I gotta respect the hustle, because it's like no one's calling them out, and even if you do, what are they gonna do?
What are they gonna do?
They're literally like, these are our trophies.
Yeah.
So they pillaged and murdered.
Spoils of war.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then they took shit back to throw it up and be like, look what we did. Right. And now people like yourself travel around the world and go visit it and be like, ooh, wow. Yeah. Look at what they stole.
You are making it sound way better than it actually is. Like, it is awful. But yes, to your point, like, I mean, I guess like if you're of that heritage, of that lineage, you have something to be proud of, I'll say.
But it's like, this is a much smaller scale. But let's say I went on a rampage in Philadelphia and just started fucking murdering people, right? And then started hanging up, oh, this is so-and-so's wallet when I murdered him yesterday, right? This is Bobby's TV when I murdered him last week, right? And then I have my own museum of the things that I stole from people's houses and invite people over to look at it.
Right.
Is that not the same?
I would think it's the same psychotic behavior. Yes, for sure. I think the difference is that when it's a group of people, like, it's more justified. Where if like you're doing it by yourself, like
he's a psychopath,
he's a rogue, he's a lone wolf. Like nah, bro. It's no different. It's no different. And to be honest with you, I don't see how people who live in that country today can look at that museum and not feel guilty.
Right. How do you look at it with a sense of pride? Like, I guess in the way it was like, look at what we did.
It's really
fucked up. We fucked it. Yeah.
No, but like I saw a TikTok and rest in peace TikTok.
Damn, for real. 10:30 p.m. last night, that shit went.
Yo, they didn't even give us till midnight.
No, they said Sunday it's gonna be gone. 10:30. They fucking said sight this right now, motherfuckers. My wife was literally scrolling. That shit popped up, and she was like, she was like, open yours. I'm like, all right. Popped up. I was like, yeah, it's gone.
They wasn't playing.
Rip.
But I saw one, and this dude was like, you weren't slaves, you were conquered. And I was like, if I'm the victor in this situation, yeah, I guess you have a good point. But also,
that's one way to spin it.
You can turn a conquered individual into a slave.
Yeah, so very much.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Conquering is just step one. If I want step two,
there is no
become slave.
Yeah, there is no one without the other for sure, obviously.
Yeah. No, but that museum shit is kind of crazy to think about because I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
And like as you were bringing it up, and that's why it fucking clicked. There's a bunch of stolen shit.
Bro, where if you go to the Philadelphia Museum of Art,
but would every museum be like that? Like, is all of our shit there stolen too?
That's what I was thinking. But when I think about the museum, because I've been a few times, there's usually exhibits. It's like art from other places that's being like transported around the world.
Right.
And now's your opportunity to come and see it before it goes back to Egypt.
Gotcha.
We taking it. We keeping it.
It's ours now.
Hey, Egypt, come look what we got.
Yeah.
It's yours.
now you got to fly over here to see your shit.
Yeah, like crazy. That's crazy work.
Yeah, man. All right.
Hey, gangster.
Yeah.
Right. But then that's kind of like, a crash course on how the state of the world is what it is today. And I am very curious if the Mongolians had kind of finished the job.
So
what would the world look
where are they now?
We would be relatives. Actually.
We might be. We go far back enough. Who fucking knows what the fuck is on paper?
Yeah, no, facts.
But so where are they now?
They're like the most peaceful people you've ever.
Because they got their rage out. You go and pillage for that long.
Yeah.
What you got to be mad about?
Nah, facts. They like
somebody hits your car. It's all right.
It's all good.
I don't need to kill.
Nah.
I don't need to get mad.
You know what? This is your retribution. Because at some point, my uncle done beat the shit out of yours.
Right. They fucking purged.
No, that's a purge,
generations.
For generations.
And it was like, we got it all out.
No, facts. Like for centuries, these people were just.
And now they're just like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, facts. Actually, the Great Wall of China was built to keep
them out.
To keep them out.
Yeah. That's actually, you see, greatness comes from that, right? Great Wall of China is a monument.
It is.
It's a success. It's a staple in mankind.
Right.
The fact that they were able to build that is insane.
Yeah.
But it came from necessity.
Fear is a powerful motivator. Fear is a powerful motivator.
So shout out to them for forcing them to create one of the greatest spectacles of humankind.
That's crazy.
Bro, it's like even boats. When you're talking about boats, wooden boats crossing the ocean. Right. I see videos online of like insane storms in the ocean, giant waves. Yeah. We have metal boats that struggle to get through it. Yeah. How the fuck was wooden boats traveling through the ocean in that kind of weather?
A lot of people had to die before they figured it out.
The fucking ocean, the sea floor has got to be riddled with fucking boats.
Yeah. Or maybe not because y'all shrimp down there eating them all.
Yeah. And then we eat the shrimp.
Yeah, y'all love it. Nasty ass.
But that's kind of crazy to think. Yeah. Do you think we'd be able to build boats out of wood now and travel as well as?
I don't think anybody would want to.
Right?
I think we are this generation is way too chill. We'd be like, we got strawberries, we got bananas.
Hilarious.
What the fuck we going to Africa for?
On a wooden boat.
Yeah, bro. Yo, and it was so funny. Like, one of the things, speaking of that I kind of like stumbled onto, they were like making a case for like how Europeans had like the perfect Have you ever played Civilization or like
I know of it.
Age of Empires?
Yeah.
Okay, they had the perfect starting location because they didn't have fucking lions and giraffes and zebras trying to stomp their skulls in. They had sheep. They had like fucking all these things that they could domesticate and use to their advantage, as opposed to like torment them for centuries.
And you telling me God don't got favorites?
No, facts.
He was like, y'all gonna start over there where everything's trying to kill you. Y'all gonna start over there where everything's all right.
Everything's all right. Like the sub-Saharan desert literally was one of the most treacherous things that people on the continent of Africa had to overcome in order to like establish civilizations outside of where they lived. And it was like, okay, you go here, you'll die. It's literally a hot ocean.
That's so fucking funny, bro. It's like, what are you gonna do?
You can't overcome it.
No. Right.
Yeah. But what'd you think?
No, I thought it was dope. I like the
I was very anxious.
You were?
Yeah, I was very
nervous
anxious to do this today. Yeah, man, because it's hard to like
take years and years of information
and condense it this way
in a way that you can spit it out to the internet.
Yeah.
And have them, take it in. I was gonna say, mama bird it to them.
Mama bird it,
because that's what mama bird like. They take food and then they feed it to them.
Yeah,
right?
Or you could have said spoon feed, but either way,
mama bird.
You just pulled that out your ass. I've never heard that actually.
But no, that's a challenge for sure. And then I told we talked before off camera. Like I told you just condense the shit to something that might be interesting to talk about. But I think it worked.
Okay. And if you commented on the last video, we greatly appreciate that because that helps us to kind of like keep the engagement high, obviously, but also to know that we're talking about something worth talking about.
Yeah, and it's the comments we were getting were also like informative. Yeah. It wasn't combative. It wasn't like, oh, you guys are fucking brain dead, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
No, which is like if we did have the conversation in a way that made you think that we're fucking stupid, then go for it.
Yeah, right.
But the fact that they weren't giving us those comments,
it's a pat on the back.
It's like, all right, then we actually had a conversation that was worth having and worth listening to. So
yeah, facts.
I guess shout out to us.
Right.
I was gonna say we're the Europeans.
No, definitely don't do that. And congratulations to LMFAO. If you watch this episode, please email us. George, what's our email?
TMC Podcast 1 at gmail.com.
Yeah, and tell us how you want to receive your $50 because you are the winner. All right, and we will see you guys next week, same time, same.
Are we talking about anything interesting next week? Some more history stuff?
Well, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, Larry takes it on a week-to-week basis.
Bruh, I like real-time feedback. Yeah. No, I'm moving.
And also we did start the other YouTube channel, Mancave Productions, where we'll be dropping skits on a weekly basis there, challenge videos, and short films to come.
Yep, absolutely. It's all George's idea, so if you hate it, it's on him.
There we go. That's going to keep me up.